students. I am Dr. Balasubramaniam. This being the first meeting of Interventional Nephrology Forum, I would like to mention a few words about the need for this group and the future agenda of this group. Interventional nephrology has come a long way from those days when a small group of maybe an eccentric group of nephrologists engaged in trying to do many of these interventions by themselves. From that stage, it is now slowly getting into the main space. But even now, there are many who feel this is not necessary for all nephrologists, as we have much to do in the areas of dialysis, transplant, and general nephrology. But we cannot ignore interventional nephrology for long. People have taken interventional nephrology for various reasons, various different reasons in different situations. For one, many of us in India have taken up because we are in dire need, especially those who are trying to practice in two-tier cities and in smaller centers, who are deprived of technical help from co-specialists and who are eager to start all nephrology work. They essentially had to do some of these interventions themselves. But the need may be different in different places. But now, with more and more young nephrologists joining us, and there will be difficulty to find place for practice. So like in Western countries, where interventional nephrology is sought after by young nephrologists because they had to find place for practice. Similar thing is bound to happen in our place also. Whatever it is, interventional nephrology cannot be stopped anymore. But the problem is, it is very peculiar in itself due to lack of boundaries. What I mean is, which are the aspects of nephrology which can be done by nephrologists? It all depends on the centers and the persons involved. And there are no guidelines as such because nobody has addressed this properly. And this makes ethical issues as well. How far one is right in trying to do these interventions. So it is even now a shady area where some of our colleagues are finding it difficult to practice in different setup. They have resistance from various quarters, from hospital administration or from co-specialists. Because sometimes we are even looked upon as adversaries by surgeons and interventional radiologists and others. Although, we do it because nobody else is too keen in helping our patients. It is there in every aspect of nephrology, right from making and putting in catheters, creating AV fistulas. See, these are all very important for our patients, but a trivial thing for other specialists. And the results doesn't mean anything to them, but for a nephrologist, it is supreme. So interventional nephrology is going to stay, but unfortunately, although we have enough and more societies and meetings going on, this aspect of interventional nephrology is not adequately dealt in many of these podiums. So our people are not able to really get help, and their learning curve is getting longer and longer because there is nobody to personally help them officially. And the curriculum of our training in nephrology and DNB also, not all centers are equipped to teach interventional nephrology. So I thought we should have a forum, maybe an informal interventional nephrology forum, where people can come out with whatever they are doing very unashamedly or very, without any inhibition, they can share what they are doing, and they can include their successes and failures as well. I realize that there are many younger nephrologists already doing interventions in smaller centers, but they are little known outside because they are not given chance to uh, show their prophecy in any place. So this would make a sort of uh, an area where people can join in, and I don't see this as a society with office bearers and members registration, etc. So this will be purely a web-based forum. We would have a website as well, and that is not yet developed. The name has been booked, and I foresee it as a monthly or once in 2 month meeting where one topic and a demo can be done by somebody, and the others can bring in their problems and doubts. And these presentations can be given to anybody who is there with passion getting involved in interventional nephrology. But it is not always true that only youngsters are interested in interventional nephrology. There are many seniors with real passion for interventions, and there are others who have done a great work, like Tushar in US. I think he has done a great work in promoting interventional nephrology, not only in US, in our country. And for this forum, we'll have I expect active participation from senior members like Sampath Kumar, Dr. Mehta from Mumbai, and I would be pulling in many others, because even if they are not presenting actively their work, they should be present in the meetings to guide the juniors who will be actively involved in the meetings. I look at it as a monthly meeting which can be allotted to some person to conduct it that month from the work done by them and participated by others. So by only active participation by everybody will take this forum for long. So this is a small attempt from my side, and let us see how it takes shape in the coming months and years. Thank you. In the first meeting today, I thought venous catheterization has been the earliest intervention done by most nephrologists, and I thought we could discuss something in central vein catheterization, some specific problem in central vein catheterization. And this will be chaired by Dr. Sampath Kumar, who has done a lot of work in interventions, including central vein catheterization, PD catheter insertion, and many other areas. And he would chair this session. And I'll start by giving an introduction why this topic was chosen today. The topic is what is right for left. So this is going to be on left-sided tunnel catheter issues and ideas. Actually, I should thank Sampath for giving this caption when I told him that I'm planning to demo left-sided tunnel catheter, how safely it can done, and so on. So he suggested what is right for the left. I think I should thank him. And the demo will be actually presented by Dr. Maria Alex Babu, who is my co-nephrologist in my center, Kidney Care Center in Tirunelveli. He has been with me for 1 year. He, after graduating from Madurai Medical College, he did his MD in Delhi, Safdarjung Hospital, and later he went on to join Lucknow, SGPI, and he has successfully completed. He is a brilliant young nephrologist. He has been with me for 1 year now, and he has picked up many of my procedures which I do, and it's great to have a companion like him. So he should be demonstrating. Although venous catheter for dialysis has been poo-pooed, and it has been kept as a third or fourth choice for long, but it is inescapable. We'll have to have catheters, and that's where tunnel catheter took over regular central vein catheter. And after that, it gave a semblance of safety and longevity. And the advantages of tunnel catheter, this is not the right place to talk. Everybody is familiar. Only here, what is right for the left? Generally, everybody prefers right IJV cannulation. That is because right side you have a larger diameter vein, which has a more direct path to the superior vena cava, and the dome of the pleural dome is slightly lower on the right side with less chances of injury when compared to left. The right side is lower, and there is no problem of thoracic duct on the right side. And because of this anatomy, there is lower rate of catheter malposition. And for generally the operator who is right-handed operator, it is easier to approach the right IJV. And we should know the differences between the right and left in anatomy. See, the left is slightly different and more complicated because it has multiple twists and turns in different planes, not only in one plane, three-dimensionally. It takes several turns from left internal jugular to join the subclavian to form the innominate or the brachiocephalic, the innominate vein, which joins the right brachiocephalic and to enter the SVC. And so to maneuver the catheter to all these turns and bends, it is obviously going to be difficult. So everybody tries to avoid the left side. And naturally, people have met with a lot of complications in left side. And plus, there is presence of this mammary vein, internal mammary vein, hemiazygos, which, sort of goes directly, it is as though it is direct from the IJV downwards. So many a times the guide wire can enter the hemiazygos or the internal mammary, and it can complicate things. And so for all these anatomical reasons, we avoid left side. And another good reason to avoid is because mostly we prefer to have left side AV fistula, so better to avoid left jugular for catheterization for obvious reasons. And this left vein is thinner than the right. And the P-level sheath, which is the sheath anchor for tunnel catheterization. If you people who are familiar doing tunnel catheter, you will realize that P-level sheath is pretty long, and it is not as pliable as the tunnel catheter itself. It will be slightly stiffer, and it cannot maneuver through bends. So right side, it is no issue because it goes straight from the IJV to the SVC, more or less a straight course. Whereas on the left side, you find that it has to take a bend here and again take a bend here, and which is not possible with the sheath. So initially what we used to do is we used to put in the sheath on the left side if necessary, but not pushing it in fully. We used to leave it halfway. It will start from here, enter here, but you don't push it till here. But it will be cumbersome to peel it away when it is jutting out of the neck and when you are trying to put in the catheter. So we were trying to get over this problem, but it is not always, it was not easy. And so generally we were avoiding on the left side tunnel catheterization. So it was always easier in right side. And sometimes people used to try left subclavian, which is again a straight course compared to right subclavian. But I generally advise people to avoid subclavian for tunnel catheterization as a whole. And the tip of the catheter position again becomes very vital in tunnel catheterization and central vein catheterization, because if it is jutting on the side wall of the vessel where it is kept, then your flow can be compromised significantly. Generally, this doesn't happen in the right jugular catheterization. Left side, as it takes a turn, it can, lie eccentrically in a place. So this is to show you that, see, when you try to put the dilator, you see how the guide wire is, you see the bend here. So there is a chance of injury if you are careless. And the sheath, see, this is in another case where it was done through the left. Luckily, the course of the innominate vein and the SVC wasn't very acute, so we managed to put the sheath, but it is pretty dangerous because you would never know and you could injure the large vessels. And if you look at the picture of the various veins entering the heart, you see that the presence of pericardium here sort of makes it safer and protective. And anything outside that pericardium, the vein is thin-walled and it is prone to injury. So when you put in a right tunnel catheter, it goes straight and chances of injury is less. But when you come from the left jugular, it has to take a turn here, and the tip can lie somewhere here, though it may not injure, the flow will not be adequate. If it juts into the this place again, it might touch the lateral wall here and the flow may be compromised. And when trying to take a bend here, it may injure the wall here. So it is very obvious that it was not wrong that we were avoiding left side tunnel catheter placement. But situations will demand where you cannot avoid left side jugular catheterization, because you see time and again repeated catheterization of the right vein can cause complete block like this. Even left side you can have problems, you see here. And I would suggest here that whenever you do these procedures, it is better be done in a place where there is C-arm, and always have a dye with you. So whenever you have problem of your guide wire getting beyond a point, it is a good idea to immediately put in the dye and find out right then and there what was the mistake or what was the problem underlying. So to overcome this problem of left side sheath and left side problems of anatomy, came this new method of over the guide wire technique. See, that way you avoid the sheath. But can you put in the guide wire and simply put the sheath, the catheter over the guide wire with the available regular catheters? May not be possible always, because you see that the catheter will be not hard enough to sort of maneuver through the subcutaneous tissue from the neck to the vein. So it can bend and it can twist, and after dilating it by the dilators, if you are not able to maneuver it across into the vein, there will be undue bleeding and everything will be a mess. So it is not a good idea to simply put in the guide wire, dilating it, and not using the sheath, but putting in the catheter. And there are people who have been using, throwing away the sheath and doing it like this on the right side, but left side it is going to be really difficult. So hitherto it was not easy. But now with the advent of this new glide path catheter, which uses a stellate with a lumen for guide wire, things have been made possible and easier. Although this has been available with us for quite some time, not many are using it. And even if they're using it on the right side. And even if they're using it on the right side, many a time they throw away the stellate and use it as a routine tunnel catheter like any other catheter. But I realize this fact that this is a great boon when you want to use it for the left side. So Now, after using this over the guidewire technique, using this new catheter with this stellate called the glide path catheter, our number of left side tunnel catheter has increased significantly, especially during this COVID period, when as such the tunnel catheter number has gone up because you would never know whether you'll be able to make a AV fistula in time. Although my center, we are very quick and very good at making AV fistulas, we never had the necessity to use tunnel catheter in large numbers earlier days. But during this corona period, we now straight away start with tunnel catheter, give enough time, take enough time to make the AV fistula. So, you will be in an unstable situation where you may have to use the left side. And this is the stellate I was telling you. This has a lumen, and your guide wire will go inside this. And this is slightly stiff, and it is pliable, but it is stiff, so that when this is inside the catheter is strong enough or stiff enough to go through the tunnel, go through the subcutaneous tissue without any problem, even though you don't use the peel-away sheath. And this shows the catheter, and you see the stellate here. And mind you, this is not a solid stellate; it has a lumen, so guide wire can come through that. And this is the tunneler. And you'll have to, in the next demo, they'll be showing you everything. And this is the picture of the glide path. And this is, this is the tip, both the artery and the vein are on the same level. So it doesn't matter if you put the artery side medially or the venous side medially, the flow is always good. And let me not go into the details of that. And now from here, I hand it over to Alex, who would, show the video of how we do the left tunnel catheter. Only the salient points we'll be touching on because everybody is apparently familiar with regular tunnel catheter procedure on the right side. So how this varies and what are the precautions you should take, Dr. Alex Babu will be telling you. Yes, Dr. Alex, you can take over. Thank you. Having seen Dr. Alex demonstrating the